Hi guys, welcome to this session on Microsoft Access. This is the fifth part of my series on how to create a service database, and in this session we're going to look at creating another report using concatenation. So let's have a look at this one. So I've created a report called customer payment. Just open that, type an invoice number in, and then it comes up with the invoice details for that customer. So invoice 1 did 2 jobs, total to pay is £900, and this invoice is due to be paid on the 20th of January 2021. So let's have a look how I've done this. If I just close this one off. So I created another query. Basically I copied this query. So previously we had a query. If I go into design on this one, did the invoice number, and that query was based on this report. If I do that one, so this is where we left it. So that was just like a tabular report, but the same process, you get the invoice amount. Now I've done it with concatenation and a few different formulas, so you can see the difference, and it's up to you which one you go for. So this is basically just a copy of that. If I go in there, invoice number is the parameter query, and that's how you put them in there with the square brackets. And then when you run that, it will ask you for an invoice number. You type the number in and you get the two records. So on this customer payment form, if I just go into design on this one, there's a concatenation for the customer address and some more concatenation for the service details and whether it's VATable or not. And I've added an if statement there, immediate if statement, IIF, to see whether it was VATable or not. And then if it was, I've put amount to pay, and then down the bottom there I've done a sum to add up all the amounts to pay if there's more than one record. And then there is a formula looking at the service date and adding 30 days onto it. Let's just close that. And we're going to recreate that from scratch. So create, report design, and on the property sheet you get it to look at that query service. And then fields, now we need to do concatenation here. So at the top on the page header, you select the AB box and you draw your rectangle. You don't need the label, get rid of that. So you start off with equals, and then you're going to go for all these fields. Customer name, so you need the square brackets, customer name, close square brackets, and then the join feature that you need to use, the concatenate symbol, is the AND symbol. So that is the AND symbol, goes there. And then you want a space, so you need to do a quote symbol. Now I want to come down a line, so I need to do Control and Enter. And then another quote symbol, and then another AND join symbol, because I'm now going to join the next field, which is address. Close that with a square bracket, and I want to come down again, so I need to do an and sign, and I'll need a space, so I need to do a quote, Control Enter, quote, and then city with an and sign, city. Close the square brackets for city, and then you repeat the process. So and quotes, Control Enter, quotes. Now if you miss one of these out, it'll tell you at the end if you've done this wrong. I'll just put postcode there so we're not going on forever and ever. Square bracket, postcode, close the square bracket. So now if you just click away from that, so that was okay, like that one. So you just have a quick look at that. Enter the invoice number 1 and it gives you the details. Now I can get rid of this box, which I will do. So go back into that. Don't want that box on there. So that's in properties, format, and you've got border style there, solid, transparent. Don't want it. Then you go have a look again, and then you can see it's now disappeared. No borders. Back to design. So that's the first bit. So now what I need to do is do a group and outline or group and sort using this box to get it to sort by or to group by the invoice number. So I'll pull that down, invoice number there. So now I'll go back to my fields and I can bring the invoice number into that one. I'm not going to do concatenate on that, but you could just concatenate this as well. So invoice number, just push that to the top. And I'm also going to put the invoice date in there as well. Not the invoice date, the service date. You could have an invoice date, it's up to you how you work this out, but just push that over a bit. Bring this up. And have a look. Invoice number 1. Okay, that's all right. Let's get rid of the boxes. So we highlight the boxes. Not to do that, you can just click there and it'll highlight everything. And you go and get rid of border style, transparent. Just make sure that's gone. Yeah. So you see the difference with not doing concatenate. So you end up having these big spaces. So really you probably do want to concatenate that as well, but not for this time. Now we're looking at the service details. So onto another AB box. I'm just going to draw it in the middle of the page and get rid of the label. So then I'm typing equals, and what do I want now? I'll go back to my fields so I can see what I've got. I've got the service date. I want the service type. So opening quotes, and then I'm typing service type, do a space, and then an and sign, square bracket, service type. So I'm doing this slightly different to the other one. Service type, and what else do I want? Service type. That's about it, I think. Service type. Got the date, service type, car type. Yeah, let's do car type. So I'll do and do my little quotes. I'll do Control Enter to come down. Car type, I'll type. If I don't want that there yet, because I'm going to type some text. Car type, quotes, and then the and sign, and then car type in there. Close the square bracket. Have a look. Service type 20,000, car type BMW 5. That's okay, get rid of the box. Just move that up there, make it a lot smaller than that. I mean, you could put, if you wanted to do there, you could put miles, 20,000 miles in there, but I'll just leave it like that. I'll just get rid of the line again. Transparent. Have a look. Invoice number 1, and there's the other one down the bottom there, so that's okay. We can come back into design, get rid of all this extra space. I can close the groups down. All this space is what's causing that gap, so let's pull this right up to the top, tight. Have a look. Invoice 1, 2 different services, service type, 2 different cars. Now what we need to do is work out how much this is costing us. So we go back in there. We need to do another concatenation underneath the in there, in the details bit, to work out the price. So equals, what we're going to do here, let's put the fields up. We want to know what the price of the service is, and whether it's vatable or not, and then the amount to pay. So I'll put in there quotes, price of service. So this is like the label really, and then quotes, price of service, and then we need to come down a line. Control Enter. So now we want to know, is it vatable or not? So price of service. So now to get the vatable bit, we need to do a formula. We need to do an if statement. So if it's yes or no. So we've got quotes there. So we need to close quotes, and IIF if vatable in square brackets, vatable in square brackets is equal to -1, because if it's true, it comes back with -1. So if that's the case, comma, we want it to say yes, it is vatable. Otherwise, comma, we want it to say no, it is not vatable. Close the bracket on that. Now just check that we've done that right. Invoice 1. Yes, it is vatable. They're both vatable. So now, after that, we can come down and do either we do it in a different box or we can do it in this box, but we could then put, I'm going to do it in a different box actually. Bring that up a bit. Just draw another box so you just get another practice at it. So it's vatable, AB box. So this is get rid of the label. Type equals again. So now we just want to put amount to pay. So in quotes, amount owed I'll put. And then a glue point, square brackets, amount to pay, close square brackets. Let's have a quick look at that one. Amount owed 600, amount owed 600 at 300, that's correct. We can tidy these boxes up in a minute. So we need the pound sign in there, so amount owed, pound sign. So we're going to have a look at that again. So it puts the pound sign in there, that's okay. Now we need to get rid of all these boxes, and we also need to make them nice and tidy. Get rid of that space. So if I come down this margin area, the ruler area, highlight those three, I can get rid of all of these at once. Border style transparent, have a look. Invoice 1, it's all transparent, there's no boxes. Go back into it. Now the last thing I want to do is to add this up. So we need to put an invoice footer on. So let's get the group and sort box back on the screen. So you need to click on this option more, with header, without footer. We need to change that to with a footer section. And then in the invoice footer, we need to do a formula that's just going to add up the amount to pay. Again, this time I do want the label actually, so I'll just leave that. So it's going to be equals sum, open bracket, normal bracket, square bracket, amount to pay, close the square bracket, close the normal bracket. Have a quick look. 900, 300 and 600, 900 is correct. So go back into design, we need to format that to currency, which is already there. Currency, so that's now in currency. And let's move this box a bit further over. What we need to have in this text box, we'll just pull that back a bit, is invoice total to pay. And then we can just adjust these boxes later, like so. And then have a look. 720 is correct for invoice 2. I don't know why I did invoice 2. Let's do it again. Invoice 1. 900 is correct. We need to get rid of the box. So we'll just get rid of the box. Border style transparent. And then we can get rid of this for a minute. Now the other thing I want to put in here is the date it's due to be paid. So again, another AB box, and just draw it. Get rid of the label. Equals, open quotes, this invoice is due on space quotes, and then we want the service date, or invoice date if you've done invoice date, plus 30 days. Let's say that. Let's see what that looks like. Look, invoice 1, 20th of the 1st, 2021, that works. So that's 30 days after that invoice. Go back into design, move this to the left, get rid of the box, transparent, and then have a look. So now what you would do is just sort this out in terms of layout, however you want it to look. Remember, we've not got a title on the customer table, which is a mistake. Probably we need to put title on that. This is a space we don't need. We can put our logos on. We can bring all these up to get rid of these gaps. I'll just do a couple so you can see what I'm talking about. So I can just push that up there, click on this and make it a little bit smaller. Because somebody could have quite a lot of services, if it was a company and they use you as a provider, there may well be hundreds of services. So this is a big box that you don't really need. Just get rid of that, push this up, and so on. Let's have a look. Invoice 1, it's all a bit tighter now. Maybe this needs to be emphasized, so I'll just go back in there and make that bold, highlight that row, Control B for bold. You might want to go to format and change the font slightly on that one, make it 14, as long as it doesn't truncate. Let's have a quick look. It has done that, truncated, so I'll just go back and expand those boxes. Didn't want to do that. Don't need that one at all like that. That can come back quite a lot, so it's only going to be a small number. This can move over there, and then just get the large box and separate these off. And make that a bit bigger. See what that looks like. Now it's not truncated. You might want to colour that in and stuff like that and make this bold or focus it. So like this bit's shaded. If there was 3, it would be shaded, and maybe that one, this box, you might want to make that bold, just so it stands out. And then the one at the bottom, last thing I'm going to do, make that one bold as well. And there you go. So both ways of doing it are okay. No, I did the wrong box bold, but never mind. It's just totally up to you whether you want it laid out like this or you want it laid out like that with the boxes hidden. It's just totally up to you. But that's the end of this session, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for your time.